Hillel and Shammai, who lived slightly before the Common Era, about the time of Jesus, were two of the greatest rabbis of their period. They never agreed on anything. But it was beautiful because they created a core foundation of the Jewish tradition that Judaism is something that we debate and argue with each other, and that there's always more than one possible authentic Jewish response to any question. And Hillel and Shammai coexisting within one tradition become the paradigm that there is no such thing as Judaism. At best, you have Judaisms. There was once someone who wanted to convert, and he comes to Shammai and says, "Teach me the whole Torah while I stand on one foot." Some of you might know this story. Shammai looks at him and says, "What are you, crazy?" Kicks him out of the room. You want to convert? I want blood. I want sweat. I want tears. Give me 3 years and I'll get, and you know, we want to make sure of your motivation and whether you really know. If you want to convert, you have to go through extensive basic training. You want it on one foot? Not interested. Comes before Hillel, who converts him on the spot. Hillel had an ideology that the mere desire to be a Jew was the only necessary criteria to be Jewish. And then welcome into the story. You might be a good Jew, you might be a bad Jew. That's what Jews are. People are. You know, you want to be? Okay, come on in, now live your life. There's some better, some worse, and he converts him. And then Hillel says, I understand what you're asking. He says, you're asking me, what's the essence of Judaism? And Hillel answers, the essence of Judaism is that what is hateful unto you, do not do unto others. That is the whole Torah, and the rest is commentary. Go and study. Who's not mentioned in Hillel's answer? Rashi, the 10th century commentator, has a heart attack. How could this be? You're talking about the essence of, you could have said two things. You had 1 foot, you could have had another sentence. It's like a person could handle more than one sentence while they're standing on 1 foot. You could have just mentioned, I think maybe you forgot something. So he reinterprets Hillel and to say, what's hateful unto you, do not do unto others. The other is God. It's not your neighbor, it's God. And just as God doesn't like it when you don't listen to God, just like you don't like it when people don't listen to you, so too God doesn't like it when you don't listen to God. And therefore, what is hateful unto you, do not do unto God, means listen to everything that God commands you. People, that's his interpretation. Because how could you leave God out of the room? Hillel says, however, I'm not leaving God out of the room. Hillel's whole life was a life of faith, a life of devotion to God. But if you ask me, what's my priority? If I have only one thing to say, it's what is hateful unto you, do not do unto others. And what's most revolutionary is when Hillel says, this is the whole Torah and the rest is commentary. What do you mean this is the whole Torah? Is this the whole Torah? What about Shabbos? What about prayer? What about Sabbath? What does it mean this is the whole Torah, the rest is commentary? That means at any given time, and this is the secret, the first stage of healing ourselves from this autoimmune disease, is that if at any time there is a perceived conflict between a life of faith and your moral obligation to see others, seeing others and responding morally is the whole Torah, and all the rest is commentary. You have to interpret your religious life in such a way that the ethical will always be primary. And it is God who commands you to do so, but because of the autoimmune disease, you can't hear. How we create a life in which the ethical is primary with God in the room is one of the essential challenges of a life of faith. And monotheism will be a gift to the world only when we answer that question. Only when we find out how to do that.